Alright, the first step is to not ask me how many takes I've taken. Why are we in my car? Because I felt like it would be fun. Yes, my phone is propped up against a water bottle. Don't worry about it. So today I wanted to talk about an essay I'd done a while back. I did an essay, a process analysis about how to intentionally have a panic attack. And the idea was that it was satirical and that you would end up doing the opposite of it. And really it told you like how to have a panic attack, like go ahead and procrastinate, let dates catch up on you, stuff like that, right? But I felt like doing the opposite of that was a little too general. And this is where we are now. This will be my own Felix's magical recipe to how to stay sane, but only from my perspective. So it's a little bit of a narrative, it's a little bit of a process analysis. Then let's just jump right into it. I have three main ways that I kind of handle what keeps me sane. I mean, there's plenty of ways, but simplify it's three. The first way is organization and cleanliness. That would be, right, organizing yourself. Like, do you have a freaking note-taking method? Do you have a calendar, right? Do you have a set time that you make your bed every day because you're weird? No, I don't. And that's the whole point. I get very overwhelmed, especially like, I had this one teacher, my freshman year in high school, that had a very, very strict way of organizing a binder. There was 3 sections, but you had to do it. One had a different organization than the others, right? So one was like versus date. One was like chapters of a book that we were reading, right? So there was a lot of things going on, and I ended up spending more time in that class organizing than I was actually just learning. I feel like as well with like a lot of TED Talks that are like how to stay organized, they say cleanliness, like having a really set schedule of when you do laundry, and hygiene is very important. It's like my number one thing. I feel like the way I handle it's a little easier for someone that gets overwhelmed. Specifically for me, that's the whole point. So the way I handle it is I just kind of clean up as I go. If there's a cup sitting out in a bowl, I put it up. Sometimes it falls out of the cabinet if I'm not careful about it. But then, I make my bed. I just get it to the point where it's not falling off the mattress anymore. And then the last thing is stacking up the stuffed animals underneath my bed. And let me explain why I do any of these things. So the whole point for me, what I'm trying to do is to trick my own brain into thinking I've done something significant. I have this issue where I put the same level of priority on every single thing. So if it's like my bed's unmade, I won't do anything until the bed's made. Which means I might procrastinate really bad on an assignment to the point where I'm like, now I'm awake at 2 a.m. with a coffee, right? Trying to finish an essay last minute. That doesn't work. Sometimes you don't need to put that level of priority on things. Like making your bed, who cares, right? So specifically, especially with the plushie thing, stacking them up for some reason just tricks my brain into thinking that I've cleaned. My room's clean now. Nothing's in the way. And now I can move on and make something actually happen that's important. The next thing I wanted to talk about was how I have a really set schedule. So I'm a little weird in that how, like, for example, I have a doctor's appointment. I'm definitely the kind of person that if I have a doctor's appointment at like 3 p.m., right, pretty late in the day and it's fine, I wake up at 8, I will sit there and do absolutely nothing until I get to the appointment, because for some reason, again, my brain does not function with priorities very well. And I just we'll just wait, To kind of combat that, there's not really anything you can do to combat that specifically, but you can at least make everything else predictable, so when something weird does come up, you can still go about your day without having to think about anything too hard. And for me, that is every night, first of all, before I go to bed, I put out my clothes. So if something weird happens, like how it happened today, where my alarm doesn't go off, I still have my clothes sitting out, so at the very least, I can grab the clothes, run and take my shower like normal, and just speed run my normal morning routine. And then I also wake up every day, I say strictly at 7 a.m. It's not really that strict, but at the very least, there was a while that I had my alarms for different days at different times, but I decided just to wake up at the same time every day, the earlier time, so at 7, to just go ahead and get up and get ready, because sometimes I just sit there and just stare. Finally, every day, I go and practice my flute. Kind of bad about doing it at the same time every day. Normally I'm doing it from 10 to 11, or 10:30 to 11:30, or sometimes even 11 if I'm being a little lazy. But it's really important to me that I do that, because again, that's another way to solidify a schedule that I can always come back to. And also, it is one of my majors, so I need to be practicing. And finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about was being comfortable, which is a little weird. I have this big issue about, combined with everything else, if I'm procrastinating, if I am thrown off by a weird schedule, then I won't let myself be comfortable. And what I mean by that is sometimes I will just forget to go eat dinner, or I will sit over hunched for a long time, or I won't drink water. And some of the ways I combat this is by constantly carrying around a water bottle. In fact, I have it with me right now. It's not the one propping up the camera. This one's a little too big, but constantly carrying around the water bottle. I'm sure you guys have seen me do this. And then also, the clothing I wear pretty baggy stuff. The reality is I'm mainly wearing it because it's comfortable. I don't like wearing stuff that touches and moves, especially I can't do makeup, I can't do jewelry, because I fiddle, and the entire day I will be just it'll be in the back of my brain, right? I'm thinking about it. That's even part of why I have this haircut, because it's not in the way all that much. And finally, the setup of my room, of course I have my gaming chair. Pretty comfortable. I recommend everyone has one, even if they're not just sitting there and playing video games all day. But then also underneath my bed, I have this pink little chair that can fold up and it locks into place, or it can lay completely down, and then I can lay on my side. And I have a tendency to hunch over, so sometimes I literally will just lay down for a moment just to get the ache out of my back before I get back to it. So yeah, in the end, I know it's a little weird that I'm recording from my car, but I felt like it would be a little less formal, because I feel like writing a big paragraph of text explaining my own reality might be a little bit overwhelming, even for myself, frankly, but for someone that might actually enjoy this advice, the stuff that I use for myself, and also it's a change of pace, and I entirely intend on going to Rhino's and getting a peppermint mocha after this. So thank you for listening. I appreciate it quite a lot, and have a good day.